All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops here. Hey, listen, it is Saturday. It is going to be July 9th, 2022, and this is a special SITREP. This is actually not to do with America, but we have a situation unfolding right now in Sri Lanka that we're going to talk about for a minute because we've been watching this unfold for several weeks now, and they've been out of fuel, out of oil for quite some time, and so this is what happens when you start to starve people out. Now, remember, Sri Lanka is a island nation that is just down to the south or southern tip of India, and it contains about 22.4 million people who have been without oil, food, and medicine replenishment probably for about a month now. And so I would imagine that their reserves or anybody that was doing prepping there, which is probably pretty minimal, has burned through that. And now they're to the point where it is time to make a change. And so with that said, we're going to hop over here to the board. Take a look. This is Al Jazeera. It says Sri Lanka's PM is willing to resign after president's house is stormed. Now, I don't know if you've seen this. Has a big feel, kind of like the January 6th stuff. But this is what happens when people realize that they have the power to do what is needed to be done. So very interesting dynamic. Now let's get over here to some of the video and we'll watch it. But it is pretty crazy. This is the first one here. Check this out. That is the moment they overran everything and stormed the presidential palace there in Sri Lanka. As you can see, a lot of people going in that building, all right? And so we actually can pop over here to this one, and you can see it again. Listen to the crowd noise. And notice there's tents and tent covers out there. It's because they've been protesting outside of that for quite some time, but you can see the streets are overrun. And this location is going to descend into hell come this evening. I can guarantee it. Now that it's dark, the police are gone. They're nowhere to be found. The military's not there. The president has actually been seen getting onto a boat, leaving the island. And as you can see, they're out on the balcony, dude in full Buddha drag. All right, let's hop on over here to the next one. Pretty crazy. And these are these are the folks taking a swim in the pool out behind the presidential palace. So you can see they're taking a little dip and cooling off. But yeah, it has the same kind of feel of what happened here. But this is what takes shape, folks, when your government gets overthrown and people just decide to stand up for themselves. And so they're in dire situation. Nobody is coming for their help. And you can look inside here. You can see that's inside one of the rooms there at the presidential palace, and they are basically eating and drinking everything and consuming everything, probably because they haven't eaten in a while. So, but nonetheless, they have descended into hell. Sri Lanka has fallen. And so this, as we have been looking at it, I'll show you over here on this side of things. You'll notice that the island, there are no NOTAMs or anything other than this. We've got a TFR that looks to be running from July 3rd to July 15th in this general area. It's just noted as a danger area. I don't know what is up in that general side of the house, but Colombo is the location. That's the biggest port, the biggest airport, everything on the island. And that's where a lot of the stuff is taking shape in terms of, my guess is the president is up here or his palace is probably up here. I don't know. That's the only place they got coverage for it. And then if you get down here by the port in Colombo, remember, this is where everything is not coming in. Again, an island of 22.4 million people. But this is basically a captive balloon or kite scheduled July 1 to October 1. That to me looks more like maybe they've got some airborne surveillance so they can get a high level view of what's going on down here at the ports. But that is pretty much it. Now, what's crazy is the airport seems to be operating as normal. We got a flight right here that just took off, headed outbound. If you get over to the board on the in Colombo itself, it is still chock full. Now, remember we watched as Kiev kind of decided, or Ukraine descended into their situation. We watched the board just kind of start to empty out, and everybody, was getting out, and then it just went no fly zone, and the board is blank. This could end up being the same way. I don't know what the military situation is going to turn out to be in that country now that the president has been pretty much overthrown and has fled the country. And so we'll continue to watch it. But as of right now, the airport is still open in Colombo, and I imagine there are a ton of people trying to get out on anything and everything at this point. You don't want to be in a situation like that. If you're traveling and you get stuck in something, a city that starts to go hot like that, you're going to want to get out. You're going to have to blend with everybody else, not draw attention to yourself, and get outside the radius of those major cities as quickly as possible and try to get to an airport. The same thing happened in Afghanistan. As you see governments collapse, people go into panic, you get the mob mentality and mindset, and it gets ugly very quickly. If they don't start getting food and some type of a semblance of peace restored within the communities on that island, don't be surprised if you don't start hearing about people I guess going into cannibalism, because there is no food, there is no oil, there is no fuel for them, and there's no medicine. So it's you're pretty much being starved out at that point. So now remember, we've been watching Sri Lanka for quite some time, and I've been showing you that the port has been pretty much empty. You can see there are some oil tankers in here. I only see onesie twosies of cargo ships. I imagine there's 3 in the whole port. Remember, main port here. This place ought to be packed. Nothing coming, nothing going, and I don't see any governments at this point stepping forward to try and help them. I saw early on, I think Japan and 1 or 2 others had given them a little bit of money and some medicine, and India sent some stuff into the port. But since then, it's kind of dried up. And so notice, too, the amount of vessels that are sitting down at the southern side, well off the shore, almost in the shipping lane there, parked. All right, these are unidentified vessels. More than likely, these are cargo ships. They have nowhere to go. If they pull into a port, they get charged, so they just park it out off the coast. We see the same thing off of China as well right now. That means that your supply chain isn't firing, folks. Don't see any help coming these guys' way. If you look at the military aspect of that particular port, it is also, this is down here in Sri Lanka, like I said. It's a little further than you think from here to India, but there's nothing. I don't see any boats. I see nothing relative to military in the general region. So it looks like these guys are on their own. We will continue to watch it and monitor it, but this is like Survivor on steroids, right? You outlive everybody else on the island. This is going to be crazy, but this is one of many, as we probably will watch in the coming weeks and months, other third world countries starting to fold in the same way. They ran out of cash, they went bankrupt, nothing, no supplies, they burned down on their inventories, and then the ultimate resort at the end of the day is overthrow the government and try to start over. And so that looks like that is the direction they are headed. So all right, that's going to be it. Listen, I hope you have a blessed weekend. I will see you guys on Monday with my next live SITREP, and if anything changes here, we'll keep you posted. That's it. Stay frosty. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworxus.com.